From the shadows of Gotham to the halls of the Justice League, one hero has captivated fans for generations. But who really is the Dark Knight? How did Batman become the world's greatest detective? And why are his villains some of the most iconic in comic book history? Stick around because we're diving deep into the legacy of Batman like never before. Hey, what's up Batman fans? Welcome back to the channel, where today we're unraveling the story behind the caped crusader himself, Batman. Whether you know him from the comics, TV shows, movies, or even video games, Batman's legacy has grown into something larger than life. But it all started with one simple idea back in 1939. Our story begins when comic book artist Bob Kane and writer Bill Finger created Batman for Detective Comics issue 27, published by what would eventually become DC Comics. The original concept was inspired by various sources. Bob Kane drew inspiration from Leonardo da Vinci's famous drawing of a flying machine, which resembled bat-like wings, and the 1920 silent film The Mark of Zorro, where a masked hero fought against injustice in secret. Bill Finger, on the other hand, played a crucial role in refining the character by giving Batman a darker tone. He took inspiration from Pulp Fiction characters like the Shadow, a mysterious crime fighter who worked in the shadows. Batman was originally intended to be a contrast to Superman. Where Superman was bright and godlike, Batman would be grounded, darker, and rely on human abilities like detective skills and martial arts. Bruce Wayne's transformation into Batman begins with the tragic murder of his parents, Thomas and Martha Wayne, by a petty criminal. This traumatic event drives Bruce to train his mind and body to perfection, swearing to protect Gotham City from crime. He adopts the symbol of the bat, using fear against the criminals of Gotham. Batman doesn't have superpowers, but his unparalleled detective skills, access to high-tech gadgets, and mastery in various forms of combat make him one of the most formidable heroes. His intelligence, resilience, and moral code define him, making him a symbol of justice in a corrupt city. Batman has been a prominent figure in comic books since the 1940s, with major highlights including The Dark Knight Returns by Frank Miller and The Long Halloween by Jeff Loeb. These comics helped shape the modern version of Batman as the world's greatest detective and Gotham's ultimate protector. One of the most notable shifts in tone came during the 1970s, when Batman returned to his darker, more noir roots, moving away from the campy versions of the 1960s. As one of the longest-running characters in comic book history, Batman has starred in countless legendary storylines that have defined the superhero genre. Let's take a look at some key Batman comics that stand out from each decade. After his initial appearance in Detective Comics, Batman's popularity skyrocketed, leading to his own solo comic in 1940. This issue introduced the Joker and Catwoman, two of Batman's most enduring enemies. Both characters would play significant roles throughout Batman's history, with the Joker becoming his arch-nemesis. During the 1950s, Batman's tone lightened considerably, reflecting the post-war era. However, one of the most important milestones was The Brave and the Bold issue 28, which introduced the Justice League of America. Batman became a key member, working alongside Superman, Wonder Woman, and other heroes to take on global threats. As Batman evolved into a pop culture phenomenon, the comics introduced Poison Ivy in Batman issue 181. The character became one of Gotham's most complex and dangerous villains, showcasing Batman's ability to take on both physical and psychological challenges. The 1970s marked a return to Batman's darker roots, especially with stories written by Dennis O'Neil and illustrated by Neil Adams. Strange Apparitions was a standout story arc, portraying a gritty, noir-inspired Batman. In the Joker's five-way revenge, the Clown Prince of Crime returned as a homicidal maniac, marking a shift away from his campy portrayal in the 60s TV series. Frank Miller's The Dark Knight Returns redefined Batman for a new generation, presenting an older, disillusioned Bruce Wayne who comes out of retirement to fight crime in a dystopian Gotham. This dark, mature take on Batman influenced the character's portrayal in future comics, TV shows, and films. The graphic novel was groundbreaking for its gritty realism and exploration of Bruce Wayne's psychology. Batman The Long Halloween, 1996 and 1997. This 13-issue limited series by Jeff Loeb and Tim Sale is one of the most celebrated Batman stories of the 1990s. Set during Batman's early career, it follows a mysterious killer named Holiday who murders people on holidays. It explores the transition of Gotham's crime scene from mob bosses to supervillains, and features notable appearances by Harvey Dent, the Joker, Catwoman, and more. 2000s, Batman Hush, 2002 and 2003. Written by Jeff Loeb and illustrated by Jim Lee, Hush is a modern classic that reintroduces many of Batman's rogues while exploring his relationships with key allies like Catwoman, Nightwing, and Superman. The story's central antagonist, Hush, remains one of Batman's most dangerous foes. Batman Court of Owls 2011, Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo reinvigorated Batman with the New 52 reboot, introducing the Court of Owls, a secret society that has controlled Gotham for centuries. This arc presented one of the most personal threats to Batman, shaking Bruce Wayne's understanding of his city and his family's legacy. Batman's presence on TV has been a fascinating journey, ranging from the colorful and quirky to the dark and serious. Here are some of the standout shows. 1966's Batman TV series, starring Adam West. This series, often remembered for its campy style, brought Batman into mainstream pop culture. With its over-the-top fight scenes and bright costumes, it became an instant hit. Adam West portrayed a lighthearted Batman, while Burt Ward played his sidekick Robin. One of the most famous aspects of the show was its star-studded guest villains, including Cesar Romero as the Joker, Burgess Meredith as the Penguin, and Julie Newmar as Catwoman. Despite its goofy tone, it solidified Batman's status as a global icon. Did you know that the iconic BAM and POWDY sound effects shown during the fight scenes were a deliberate choice to make the show feel like a live-action comic book? This unique touch made the show stand out from other TV series of the time. Batman's influence on television began with his live-action debut, but it was in the animated series that the character truly expanded his reach. One of the first major animated appearances of Batman was in Super Friends, a Saturday morning cartoon that featured Batman as a core member of a superhero team that included Superman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, and others. Voiced by Olin Soul, Batman appeared in all iterations of the show, which introduced millions of young fans to the character. Batman's portrayal in Super Friends was much lighter compared to the darker comics of the time. The show emphasized teamwork and moral lessons, making it a kid-friendly version of Batman that resonated with a younger audience. One of the most fun and unexpected crossovers happened in the 1970s when Batman appeared in several episodes of the new Scooby-Doo movies. In these episodes, Batman, along with Robin, teamed up with Scooby-Doo and the Mystery Inc. gang to solve mysteries. These episodes were loved for their quirky humor, and seeing Batman work alongside Scooby-Doo added a layer of fun for both kids and longtime Batman fans. The Batman and Scooby-Doo team-ups were so popular that they were revisited multiple times, including in modern animated crossovers like Scooby-Doo and Batman the Brave and the Bold 2018, where Batman once again joined the gang to solve a mystery. Batman the Animated Series from 1992 until 95. One of the most critically acclaimed versions of Batman, Batman the Animated Series, was groundbreaking for its mature storytelling and dark tone. Voiced by Kevin Conroy, Batman became a darker, more brooding character, while the animation's Dark Deco style set the tone for many future adaptations. This series introduced Harley Quinn, a character created specifically for the show, who went on to become one of DC's most popular villains. The Batman from 2004 until 2008. In this animated series, Batman is portrayed as a younger, more energetic hero early in his career. The show introduced updated versions of classic villains like the Joker, Penguin, and Catwoman, while showcasing Batman's development into the Dark Knight we know today. Batman played a central role in the animated Justice League and Justice League Unlimited series, where his tactical mind and detective skills often balanced out the superpowers of heroes like Superman and Wonder Woman. Voiced once again by Kevin Conroy, Batman's reluctant leadership in the Justice League became a key theme in the show. Gotham from 2014 until 2019. A prequel series focusing on the origins of Gotham City's most notorious villains. Gotham centered on the young detective James Gordon, played by Ben McKenzie, and a teenage Bruce Wayne, portrayed by David Mazouz. While Bruce slowly transitions into Batman over the course of the series, the show focuses heavily on the rise of villains like the Penguin, the Riddler, and Selina Kyle Catwoman. The series provided a deep dive into Gotham's dark underbelly, offering fans a fresh perspective on the city's criminal ecosystem. Many fans appreciated how Gotham embraced the bizarre and sometimes campy elements of Batman's world while still maintaining a dark and grounded tone. The show gave rich backstories to villains like Oswald Cobblepot and Edward Nygma. Batman's presence on the big screen is equally impressive, with each era bringing its own unique take on the character. Let's dive into some of the major milestones. Tim Burton's Batman, 1989. Michael Keaton took on the role of Batman in Tim Burton's 1989 film, and the character was given a darker, more gothic treatment. The movie's villain, the Joker, portrayed by Jack Nicholson, stole the show with his sinister yet flamboyant performance. This movie is often credited with showing the world that superhero films could be dark, serious, and successful at the box office. After the success of Batman, Tim Burton returned with Batman Returns, a darker and even more stylistic take on Gotham's caped crusader. Michael Keaton reprised his role as Batman, while Michelle Pfeiffer gave an unforgettable performance as Selina Kyle, Catwoman, a character who straddles the line between enemy and love interest. Danny DeVito played the grotesque and tragic Oswald Cobblepot the Penguin, one of Gotham's most infamous villains. Batman Returns was known for its darker tone and visual style, which pushed the boundaries of what was considered a family superhero film. The film's more gothic atmosphere and intense character portrayals gave it a lasting legacy in the Batman franchise. Despite the darker approach, Batman Returns was praised for its deep character development, particularly the tragic and layered portrayal of both Catwoman and the Penguin. This film marked a turning point in superhero cinema, paving the way for more complex villains and anti-heroes. Batman Forever, directed by Joel Schumacher, brought a more colorful, flashy, and lighter tone to the Batman franchise compared to Tim Burton's dark and gothic approach. In this film, Val Kilmer took over the role of Bruce Wayne Batman, battling against the Riddler, played by Jim Carrey, and Two-Face, Tommy Lee Jones. The movie introduced Chris O'Donnell as Dick Grayson on Robin, establishing the partnership that would continue in the next film. Following the success of Batman Forever, Joel Schumacher returned with Batman and Robin, a film that is often remembered for its campy, exaggerated tone. George Clooney took over the role of Batman, while Chris O'Donnell reprised his role as Robin. The movie also introduced Alicia Silverstone as Batgirl. The villains were Mr. Freeze, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, and Poison Ivy, Uma Thurman, who teamed up to take on the dynamic trio. Fast forward to the 2000s, and Batman took on an even darker and more realistic tone with Christopher Nolan's The Dark Knight trilogy. Christian Bale donned the cape and cowl, offering a grounded, gritty interpretation of both Batman and Bruce Wayne. The second film in the trilogy, The Dark Knight, introduced Heath Ledger's chilling portrayal of the Joker. Ledger locked himself in a hotel room for a month to develop the Joker's unique voice and mannerisms, ultimately delivering a performance that earned him a posthumous Oscar for Best Supporting Actor. The Dark Knight was the first superhero film to gross over $1 billion worldwide, solidifying Batman as a box office powerhouse and influencing the direction of superhero films for years to come. The final film in the Dark Knight trilogy, The Dark Knight Rises, sees Batman returning after years in hiding to save Gotham from the menacing Bane, played by Tom Hardy. Bane, a physically imposing villain with a brilliant strategic mind, successfully breaks Batman, both physically and mentally. This film explores Bruce Wayne's resilience and his willingness to sacrifice everything to save Gotham. Anne Hathaway also makes a memorable appearance as Selina Kyle Catwoman, offering a complex portrayal of the anti-heroine. The film's opening sequence, featuring an aerial hijacking, was praised for its practical effects and remains one of the most stunning action scenes in superhero cinema. Nolan's decision to keep CGI minimal in the trilogy helped ground the films in a sense of realism rarely seen in the genre. Most recently, Robert Pattinson stepped into the role of a younger, more detective-focused Batman in The Batman, directed by Matt Reeves. This version of the character leaned heavily into noir, with Gotham City taking on an almost horror-like atmosphere. The villain, the Riddler, played by Paul Dano, was reimagined as a dark, twisted serial killer, adding a new layer of intensity to the film. In preparation for his role as Batman, Robert Pattinson watched every major Batman movie and read several Batman comics to fully immerse himself in the character. Batman may have started as a lone vigilante, but he eventually became a key member of one of the most powerful teams in the DC Universe, the Justice League. In live-action films, Batman is one of the founding members of the Justice League in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, 2016, and Justice League, the 2017, portrayed by Ben Affleck. These movies explore Batman's role as a strategist and leader, uniting the heroes to face cosmic threats like Steppenwolf and Darkseid. The 2021 release of Zack Snyder's Justice League expanded Batman's leadership role, showing a more cohesive team dynamic and deepening the story behind Batman's quest to create the Justice League after the death of Superman. One of the most iconic moments in Zack Snyder's Justice League is when Batman, despite being immortal, takes on powerful alien technology and leads a team of superpowered heroes to victory. His contingency plans, combat skills, and unbreakable determination show why he's the backbone of the League. The 2023 Flash movie brought an exciting return of Michael Keaton as Batman, over 30 years after his last appearance in Batman Returns, 1992. In this film, The Flash explores the multiverse, traveling to different realities where he encounters alternate versions of heroes, including Keaton's Batman. The film also featured Ben Affleck as his more recent version of Batman, creating a thrilling connection between different eras of the character. The Flash was notable for uniting two generations of Batman, celebrating the legacy of the character across various timelines in the DC universe while exploring the impact of the multiverse on the events that shaped the hero. Now you've heard the full story of Batman, from his dark origins in the comics, to his iconic movie portrayals, and even his role as a founding member of the Justice League. But what's your favorite Batman story or movie? Do you love the campy Adam West, the gritty Christian Bale, or the detective-style Robert Pattinson? Let us know in the comments below. And if you haven't already, don't forget to hit that subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up, and turn on notifications. We've got tons of content lined up for you, whether you're a fan of superheroes, villains, or everything in between. See you in the next video, and remember, always keep your utility belt handy.